So let's spend a little bit of time looking at the variable scope. What that means is where the variables are available to be used. So we have our two functions here. We have function one, we have function two, and then we have the code down below it. If we look at function one, we can see we create a variable temp1a in function one, and in function two, we create a variable temp2a, and then down in our Python code, we have global one, global two. And so global one is variable, they're all string variables. So we have, then we get down here, we call function one and we send some code to function one. If we then go, that goes into the variable temp1. So within function one, we have temp1 and temp1a. And we print temp1 and we print temp1a. We also print global one. If we then call function two and we send the variable, the text string sent to fun2, that goes into temp2. So we have the variable temp2, temp2a, and we print global one, temp2, and temp2a in there. And then we print global two, and then we send to function one again, and we print call to function, and we say func2, and we send global two. So in these two calls, we send strings. In this call, we send a string, and in this call, we send a variable. And so if we run it, you can see we call global one, and we print temp1, which is sent to func1, which is this here. This string here is what's sent up and goes into temp1, and we can use that value within this function here, and it prints out just fine, and temp1a prints out just fine, and global one prints out just fine. If we look at function two, we do the same thing. Well, sent to func2, and we print out temp2 as well. So we get global one sent to func2, and temp2a gets printed out, because then we have the global one, temp2, and temp2a get printed out. So far so good. Then we were at our pause here. If we stop this and now we try and print the local variable temp2 inside of temp1, you can see it's not going to run. And that is because temp2, the variable temp2 and temp2a, you see I'll do the same thing here, they both are only available inside this function. And because they're only available within that function, they can't be printed here. Similarly, if we try and print temp1 and temp1a in function 2, they won't work either. And because their scope is only within that function. So the scope of the local variables is only within the function that they are created in. Notice the global functions can be printed within those functions and outside of those functions. Also notice if we try and print a variable, a local variable outside of the local variable, it is not available for printing too. So global variables are available in our main program and in all of our functions, but local variables are only available within our functions. Now, what I did here was, instead of sending a hard-coded string of text to a function, you would never really do that. You just put that hard-coded string of text inside the function. You would normally be doing something like this, sending a variable, and you can see that it copies the value into the the variable that's located inside the call string of the function. Now, it gets a little bit more crazy if we're going to be doing something when we're looking at methods. So we won't look at methods yet. So we've created a global variable, and we have some local variables here, which is temp1, and then we call the function and it returns the local variable and puts it into our global variable. So when we run this, you can see we have all the local variables that were in here, but we copy them. Since we're returning them, they actually end up into a global variable. So if you need to get something out, a local variable out of a function, the way to do it is to return it, and then it will be available in the main routine, and you can then copy it into a global function if you need to. And I make this clear here that we can access the global variables in here and they change. So what we do is um, we print the new global value is. We call the function, and the function creates a local variable, which is a random number, and we print the starting global variable is, and this is the global variable. Notice I'm calling the global variable from inside the function, and then we print out the local variable is equal to our local variable. We return the local variable, which is now in the global variable, and we say the new global value is the new value. So you can see our starting value is 0 from up here. It's now a 0. The local variable is 6. We copy that into the global variable, and that's a 6. And then the next time, sure enough, it's a 6. And the local variable turns out to be a 6. And the new global variable is still a 6. Our starting variable is 6. Our new local variable is a 2. It's a random number. We then copy that into the global variable, and of course, it stays as we rotate that further down. So local variables are only available within the function that creates them, and global variables are available throughout the entire uh, program.